So in this video, I'm going to share on how to answer the Nanyang Primary School Primary 5 Mathematics, which is the term 1 weighted assessment. So this will be a good revision for you to go through before the weighted assessment. So I would recommend for you to get up your papers and pens, right, to just go through this. So two ways on how to do this. You can go to the description down below and download the whole weighted assessment and do at your own time. Or you can go through this video and pause on a question where you can do it on your own and see whether your answers is correct. Okay, so let's get started on the first question. Okay, so a pretty straightforward division question. So let's read the question. Find the value of 6,400,000 divided by 400. Okay, so let me just write this down. So 6,400,000 divided by 400. Okay, so in division, generally what you do is that you actually can just remove the zeros, right? So you could see there's two zeros over here, so you can just remove the two zeros, and then we are left with 64,000 as what you see over here, right? Now the next part is, how do we get the answer? Okay, generally the quick way is to just basically see if the answer has three zeros, and if you were to guess correctly, the answer is actually 3, right? Because all of the first two numbers is actually 16. So generally, you already know the answer should be number 3. So at the same time, if you want to practice your division, the easiest for you to know on how to divide is to just divide 64 divided by 4, right? So if you want to do the workings, right, 64 divided by 4, so put 4 here, which is 1, minus 24. So 24 is actually 6, which is what you see over here, lah, right? 24. Okay, so it's always good practice to know how to divide mentally, lah, right? So this should be 16. Okay, and then you can put 16 over here with the remaining zeros at the end. So, and that's how you get 16,000. So you can see, even without me answering this whole thing over here, you can actually get the answer, which is number 3, right? So pretty straightforward. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, you can pause this video to see what answer you did get, and you can unpause this video once you're done to see whether you get it correct. All right, so let's get started on this. Okay, so what you need to do is that there is this question: find the value of this whole equation, right? 2 times 24 minus 24 minus 8 divided by 2 divided by 4. Okay, so first thing about the rules of multiplication, division, which one start first, right? Always start first with number 1 is inside the brackets. Okay, always start with the brackets. Okay, so inside the brackets, right, number 2, whether it's inside or outside the brackets, you always want to go from left to right, and this is where number 3 is the either is a multiplication, multiply, or divide. Okay, and then after that, number 4 is the rest. Okay, where you want to minus or plus and whatnot. Okay, so according to these rules, as what you see over here, you can see that we need to do the brackets first. All right, brackets over here, and then we go left to right. Okay, so the left, 24 minus 8, and you have 8 divided by 2. So which one should you start first? So you should always start with the multiply or divide first, right? So let's get with that. So number 1 is that you can divide 8 divided by 2 first, right? And this will bring us to 4 minus 24. Okay, and this will be the bracket over here. So we just focus on the bracket first, because like I say, brackets very important, right? So then we can bring this down to 20. That's what you see over here. Okay, now you have the divided by 4, and then divided by 4, and then you see here 2 times 24. So you can also, since there's a minus over here, you can also multiply, since this is outside the brackets, and we also need to do, and there is a there's a minus over here, so we can actually start with that as well. So 2 times 24, if you want to do your 24 times 2, then you can just put here lah, 8 4, right? So 48. Okay, 48, and then this will be 48 minus 20 divided by 4. So this 20, you don't need to have the bracket since it's only one number, and according to our here, multiply or divide, so this should be worked on. So 20 divided by 4, pretty simple, should be 5. And now you minus 48, 48 minus 5, this should be 43. So the answer over here should be number 3. That's what you see over here. So if you get number 3, then good job. You got it correct. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So you can pause this video, try it on your own, and unpause it once you're done. All right, let's see if you got the answer correct. Okay, so find the value of 6 times 6 multiplied by 4 over 9. Okay, so what is 6 in fractions? Pretty simple. 6 out of 1 times 4 out of 9. Okay, and with this, we can simplify it even further. So do you see any common denominator, not common denominators, but common multiples between 6 and 9? If your answer is 3, great. So that means we can divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So now we can multiply 2 times 4 over 3. Okay. So you roughly see, even without going through the multiplication, you see the denominator, it is actually 3. So you can safely say the answer should be 4, but if you want to multiply, it should be 8 out of 3. That's what I see over here. All right, so pretty straightforward. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. So this is a bit tricky. So you can pause this video, try this out, and I'll pause it once you're done. All right, let's see if you got this correct. Okay, so there were 5 liters of orange juice. So this is the start, 5 liters, right? Then John drank 2 liters of orange juice. So then you have a rough idea, okay, probably left 3 liters. Okay, simple subtraction. But I think this is where it gets a bit tricky. Paul drank 2/5 as much as orange juice as John. So you see this word as much, right? So this, in a way, you should have a sense that this should be a ratio. Okay? So 2/5 as much orange juice as John. So you know ratio, right? Ratio is the number colon number, right? So now we have Paul, which is over here, and we have John. Okay, so let's write this down. So we can put here Paul, and we can put John over here. Okay, now you have a sense of how this ratio is looking like. Now what's the number, right? Paul drank 2/5 of John. So there is the number 2 and there is the number 5. So which number goes to which person? So if you were to read this, Paul drank 2/5. So 2/5 means Paul over here drank 2, while John over here drank 5, right? A fifth, right? I mean, not a fifth, but 5, right? The number 5. So that means that Paul over here has the number 2, while John is number 5. So when you were to read this whole statement over here, this is what you should actually put. So when you see this person say Paul drank 2/5, that means Paul ratio should be number 2. So as much, once you see the as much, that's why you need to do a ratio, and that's why you put John, and that's why you put number 5 over here, which is what you see over here. All right. So how much orange juice was left in the fridge? Okay, how much orange juice was left in the fridge? Okay, so that means if I were to write this down, John drank 2 liters of orange juice. So that means this is 5 units, this is 2 units, U means units, U means unit, right? So that means John drank 2 liters. So 5 units is actually 2 liters, as what you see over here. So if 5 units is equal to 2 liters, 1 unit is equal to, so we need to divide by 5, right? So this is divided by 5. That's what you see over here. Okay, then that means this is 2 over 5 liters. Okay, now how much orange juice was left? So this one, how much orange juice is left? Okay, so we know Paul drank 2 units, John drank 5 units, and there were a total of 5. So what's left? So essentially what's left is equal to, original was 5 liters minus, so John drank 2 liters, so minus 2 liters minus, and then we know John drank 2 liters. What about Paul? Paul drank 2 units, right? That's what you see over here. So that means it's 2 times 2 out of 5 liter. So that means you see 2 units is equal to 2 times 2 out of 5, which is 4 out of 5 liters. Okay, so essentially this is 3, simple math, minus 2 times 2 fifth, which is 4 fifth liters, right? And then what is essentially 3 minus 4 fifth? So you can think of it as 2 plus 1 minus 4 fifth. And then make it simple. 1 minus 4 fifth. So that means 2, 1 out of 5. Okay. So, or to make it even simpler, because my thing is already blocking, but let me just go here. So 2 plus, so 1 whole is equal to, in this case, 1 is equal to 5 out of 5 minus 4 out of 5. Why? Because 5 divided by 5 is 1, right? Which is earlier what we see over here. So that's why we put it here. And then now it becomes 2. So 5 over 5 minus 4 over 5, that means is 1 over 5. And do we see a 2 1/5? We do, which is here. The answer should be number 1. That's what I see over here. Alright, so hopefully you get this correct. Okay, so essentially it is a lot more to go through, but this is how you do it. Alright, okay, let's move on. So number 5. So this is also another tricky question. Let's read it out. The first 22 numbers of a number pattern are given below. So there is a pattern as what you see over here. Find the sum of the first 88 numbers, right? Sounds a little bit scary, but let's break this down first. Okay, so you see your first number is 5. The next number is 0. Next number is 3. Next number is 4. Then you see 5, 0 again. So you might be expecting it should be 3, 4 again, right? Nope. It's again 5, 0 and 3 and 4, right? So in a sense, it is repeating, but this is what it looks like. Okay. So essentially, there is one set of number. So 5, 0, 3, 4, 5, 0 is the first set of number. Then 5, 0, 3, 4, 5, 0 is the second set. 5, 0, 3, 4, 5, 0 is the third. 5, 0, 3, 4, so forth and so on. Right? So essentially, this is one set. Right? The set of numbers, and how many numbers are there? So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's actually 6 numbers in one set. So let's write this down. One set is equal to 6 numbers. Okay? Right? And you see this word sum. So what does sum mean? Means total of all numbers. Right? Sum means add all numbers. Right? Okay. So one set we have number 5, 0, 3, 4, 5, 0. Okay, so let's add them up first. So 5 plus 0 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 0. Okay, and let's add them up. So if you were to add them up, this should be 17. Okay, so 5 plus 5 simply is like 5 plus 5 is 10, 3 plus 4 is 7, then you have 0, which we can ignore. This will be 17. Alright, so now we know that one set of numbers is equal to a sum of 17, or add all the numbers, the total is 17. So can 88 divided by 6? So let's do that. So 88 divided by 6 to see how many sets are there over here. So 88, so you can do working, right? So 88 divided by 6. So you put 6 over here, this one, minus this should be 28. So this should be 24, right? Then it should be remainder 4. Okay, so 28 is 4, this is 4. Right? So essentially it's 14 and 4 out of 6. Which is, yep, that's what you see over here. Okay? So now we know there is 14, 4 out of 6. What that means is that we can multiply. So 6 numbers. All right. So that means we can just say if one set is 6 numbers, then what is 14 sets, right? We don't go for the 4 out of 6 first, right? What is 14 sets? So 14 sets is actually 17 times 14. Because we have the total sum, and then we just multiply by the 14 sets, okay? So we can multiply 17 times 14. So you see over here, it should be 8, 2, and then 1, 7, sorry. Yeah. So 1 times 4 is 4, this should be 68. Okay, and then we put 1, 7 over here, plus it should be, oops, 1, 2, 3, 8. Okay, so we have 2, 3, 8. Let me just put this whole thing over here, right? Okay, so this 2, 3, 8. So now we have 14 sets. That's equal to 2, 3, 8. Okay, then the next thing that we have over here is the 4 out of 6. So that means this 4 over here is the first 4 numbers. And that means it is 5. So the first 4 out of 6 means it is the first 6 over here, first 4 numbers. Okay, right? So if we were to add the first 4, which is over here, right? 5, 0, 3, 4. We just add them up, which is 5 plus 0 plus 3 plus 4. And this is equal to 12. And now we know what is 4, 6, and 14 sets. We add them up together. So 2, 3, 8 plus 12. This will be 250. Okay, a bit long, but that's how you get your mark for 250 as what you see over here. All right, so this is a bit like tough. So we can move on to the next question. Okay, so now you can pause this video and figure out how you can do question 6. All right, so let's see if you got your answer correct. Let's read the question. Write 8 and 9,000 and 7 in numerals. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Maybe this is a tricky question, but this is a word together. 800 and 9,000. So you put 800 and 9,000. Sorry. So this is not 88, but it's like, yeah, 809,000. And then 7 in numeral, so plus 7 as well. Okay. So common mistake is that you might put 800 and then wrong already lah, right? So in thousands, if you remember, there is 10,000, there's 100,000 as well. So the answer should be here. Okay. So just to recap a bit, this is the 100,000 place. Okay. Then 9 over here is the 1,000 place. Okay. And 7 here is the 1 place. Right. So the answer here is 809,007. Okay. So that is how you do question number 6. Okay. So next question is question number 7. Find the value of 46 divided by 8. Express your answer as a mixed number. So what is this mixed number means? So in other words, mixed number is essentially just fractions. Okay, so find the value of 46 divided by 8. So essentially what you need to do is, so 46 divided by 8 is equal to, then you do your workings lah, right? 46 divided by 8. Okay, so close to 46 is 40. Okay, so 40 is 5 and you have a remainder 6. Okay, so your answer should be 5, remainder 6 out of 8. And that's it. So the answer is 5, 6 out of 8. All right, let's move on to the next question. Right, this is a bit tricky. So express 3, 1 out of 200 as a decimal, right? So decimal over here means it's like the 3 point something something something, right? 3 point x. So these are just numbers, 3 point. So you have a dot over there, right? Okay, So how do we express 1 over 200? That's what you see over here. So we know the answer is roughly about 3, but it's 200. Okay, so what you can do is that essentially you can make this 200, what's the closest that you can go to in terms of a decimal place for 200, right? So if you remember, 1 divided by 10 is equal to 0.1. 1 out of 100 is equal to 0.01. 1 out of 1000 is equal to 0.001. So out of this whole fractions into decimal, where can 1 out of 200 be? Essentially this, right? You see over here. 1 out of 200 is actually 1000, right? So what you can do is you can multiply this into 1 out of 200, which is like times 5 for both, because 200 closest is 1000. So 5 out of 1000, right? If you simplify, it will be 1 and 200. So if you want to make it 1000, it will be like this. And now with this, you can make it to a decimal, because 5 out of 1000 is essentially just changing this one number in this example over here to the number 5. And the answer is 0.005. There you go, 3.005. So this is how you get the answer. All right, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so next question over here says, Mr. Tan saves 1,500 each month. How much does he save in 30 years, right? So let's break down on how many months is there in a year. So 1 year is equal to 10 or 12 months, right? Yes, 12 months. That's what you see over here. Okay, now what about 30 years? All right, so we can say 3 years. Let's simplify as much as, of course, 3 right? 3 shit, 3 times 12, which is 36, right? Months. Now if I were to put 30 years, right, then you just times 10 lah, right? 36 times 10, which is very simple, 360 months. Okay, you can break down like that, or you can just straight away 30 years times 30 lah, right? I like to, do this because it's better to have an easier way to see your mistakes along the way lah. Okay, now Mr. Tan saved 1,500 each month. So that means Mr. Tan, let's go savings is equal to, so we have 1,500 times 360, no scope, right? So with that said, how much is it, right? So we can multiply. So you don't need to put the whole zeros, because we know there is 1, 2, 3. So when you multiply, you add the zero up, meaning like you have 1, 2, 3. Since there is 1, 2, 3 zeros. Now we just need to know what is 36 times 15. Okay, so 36 times 15, so 6 times 5 is 30, so 0, put 3 here. 3 times 5 is 15, and then you add the 3, which is 180. And now 36 times 1, we just put here 3, 6, then 0 lah, right? So you plus together. So this will give us 8 plus 6 is 14, plus 1 here, it should be 540. And now we just put here 540, $500,000. Damn. So now you have $540,000. Wow. So always save, right? It's very important. 30 years, save 1.5K. That's very good. Yes. Okay, let's move on to, I don't even have money in the bank. Kidding. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 10. You can pause this video, try it out on your own, and unpause this if you want to see whether you got it correct. All right, so let's read the question. Ali and Bob were at a carnival, and Ali has 25,500 tokens. So Ali had 3 times as many tokens as Bob, right? So before we move on, we need to understand what this means, right? So Ali had 3 times as many as Bob. Okay, so that means we can do a simple model. So Ali and Bob. So Ali has 3 times. So let's draw 1. So we have 3 times, and Bob, right, over here has this. So 3 times as many means Ali has 3 and Bob has 1, like this. And in this model over here. And in total, Ali had 25,500 tokens. That's what you see over here. Okay. Now, so now you have settled this. The next part, let's read it. Okay. At the end, Ali and Bob had the same number of tokens. So you can see here, how can we make Ali the same number as Bob in this model? So we have 3 units over here, right? 3 units, and we have 1 unit. So how do we make it into equal, right? So how do we make equal? Essentially, Ali, right, has 3 units, and then Bob over here has 1 unit. So this is unequal, right? To make it equal, then that means 3 plus 1, right? And then we divided by 2 to make it equal. Equal means half, right? Divided by 2, then it should be 2. So that means they end up to be equal, which is roughly 2 units each. Okay. Then that means Ali will give Bob 1 unit like this, right? So this is 1 unit. So since 2 units is equal, that means Ali before, so Ali gave 1 unit, right? So Ali gave 1 unit to Bob. That's what you see over here. So how many tokens did Ali give to Bob? So that means he gave 1 unit. And 1 unit of Ali is essentially 25. So 1 unit is equal to 25,500 divided by 3. Okay, right? And you can put in you can put a 0, 0. Okay, then you just divide 25 and 5 divided by 3. Okay, so this is 21, 7. Okay, no, sorry, 24. So it shouldn't be 7, should be 8, right? And then you have 15. So this can be 15 as well. It should be 5. So this should be 85, right? So 1 unit is 8,500 or 8,500. And how many tokens did Ali give to Bob? 1 unit, as what you see over here. That means the answer is 8,500. That's what I see over here. Right? So that is question number 10. Right. Question number 11, you can pause this video and try it out on your own. And if you're done, let's see if you got this correct. Alright, so a room measures 3/4 of a meter by 6 meter. So 3/4 meter by 6 meter, find the area of the room. So a room essentially is, I think you can ask your teacher, but essentially this is a rectangle, right? So I'm gonna draw a simple rectangle. Hopefully it's not a, it's trapezium, it's just a normal rectangle. So I see over here, right? Then the thing is that it is measured 3, 4 meters and 6 meters. So if you remember, the area is area is equal to length times breadth, right? Okay, in this case over here, the length is 3.4, breadth is 6 meters. Okay, so what we need to do is just multiply. Okay, so let's try 3/4 times 6. Okay, so this is the area. So the next thing is express our answer as an improper fraction in its simplest form. So improper fractions means, for example, if you have 9/2, that is improper fraction, right? This is improper. Okay, improper fraction. So proper fractions is essentially, if it's 9/2, it should be, if you see over here, you roughly know, 4.5. So this is proper fractions. Okay, proper fraction means you must make sure that you simplify it to a whole number and also the fractions left. Improper is just everything like this. Okay, so with that said, then what we're gonna do is multiply them. So 3/4/6. So you put a 1 over here because 6/1 means it's 6 lah. And the thing is, we can simplify this. So the common multiple between 6 and 4 is not 3, 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I literally gave you the answer already. 9 over 2. So the answer is 9 over 2. That's what I see over here. Right? Hopefully you get it correct. All right. Question 12. Ming had some cookies. He sold 7 of the cookies. So let's do that first, right? So let's see what is left. So he sold 6. Okay, so first step is basically remaining cookies or cookies left. So 1 minus 6 over 7. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. This should be 1 is equal to 7 out of 7 minus 6 out of 7, right? And this should be 1 out of 7. Okay, all right, so he left with 1 out of 7, right? Remaining cookies. Okay, good. Let's move on. He then baked another half of what he originally had at first. So what this means is that, so I'll just add in new cookies is equal to, so the remaining 1 out of 7, then he added another half, right? 1 out of 2. So what is half of, what is the answer for this equation? So only way you can do this is that you can make this 1 out of 2 to be the same denominator, common multiple to each other. Okay, so you can multiply, the common denominator should be 14, right? So if it's 14, then that means 7 divided by 4, this should be 2 out of 14, plus half should be 7 out of 14. Okay, because what we did here was, this since times 2, this is times 7, because denominator is 14. So you just multiply the, you multiply the opposite, right? Same goes here, and same goes here as well, right? And that's why you get this over here. And then now 2 out of 14, now we can add them up into 9 out of 14. Okay, and 9 out of 14 over here is equal to 1512 cookies. So what you need to do is, you need to have 1 5 1 2. So how do we get 14 or the whole cookies at first, right? So 1 5 1 2 is equal to 9 out of 14, right? So 40, wait, let me make it a bit clearer here, right? So 9 out of 14 is equal to 1512. So what is 1 out of 14, which is 1512 divided by 9. As you can see over here, right? From 9 to 1, we divide by 9. Okay, why we divide by 9? Because we want to make this 14 out of 14. Because we want to know what's the original. And the original is a whole number, 14 out of 14 lah. So you have 1512 divided by 9 times 14. Okay, and then you can do the division. 1512 divided by 9. Okay, so you put 9 over here, and then you put no, this 1. Oops. Right, so you put 1 over here, this will be 61. Then you put 54. So 54 is 6, right? Then this should be 72. 72 is 8, right? 0. Okay, so this should be 168 times 14. Let's see how much is this, right? So let's do the workings. 168 times 14, right? So let's do this. 168 over 14. So 8 times 4 is equal to 32. So put 2 here, 3. 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 3, 7. 27. 1 times 4 is 4. Plus 2 is 672. Plus, okay, let's do the workings a bit. A bit here. Okay. So, and then lastly, you put here 8 times 1 is 8. 168. And this should be the 2. 7 plus 8 is 5. Put 1 here. 12, 13, 2, 3, 5, 2. Right? So the answer is 2, 3, 5, 2. So there you go. The answer is 2, 3, 5, 2 for this. So a little bit tough on this, but if you got this correct, great. If not, then this is the answer to this. Alright, so Next question. Right, so this is a bit tricky, right? So we're going to visualize it as much as possible. The sum of the parameter of two different square is 40 centimeters. So let's do that first, right? Quite like part by part, right? As much as possible. Okay, so there's two different squares, and usually that means one is smaller, one is bigger. So let's draw out I would say this is the bigger square. Oops, bigger square, right over here. Right, so let's say this is square A, and the smaller square is square B. That's what I see over here. So what is the parameter? So parameter is basically, so if I have A, 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 the parameter is basically A plus A plus A plus A, which is 4A over here. So same thing with B, 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 B. The parameter is you add all the sides. So essentially, this is also plus 4B, right? So why we add them up? Because the sum means add the addition of the two parameters is 40 cm. I mean 40 cm square. Hey, 40 cm, which is what we see over here, right? 40 cm. Okay, so do you see a common number here? 4, right? So we can simplify it even further. So we can say A plus B, because we divide them by 4. When we go here, we divide it by 4. So 4A divided by 4 is A, 4B divided by 4 is B, and 40 divided by 4, what is it? You guessed it, answer is 10 centimeters. So now we know that A plus B is 10 centimeters. Okay, so this is what we got from only the first statement. Let's go to the second statement. The second statement means difference between, so difference is, whoops, the difference is means minus, right? Difference minus between two things, area of the two squares. Okay, so in this case, what is the difference, right? So to get an area of two squares, you need to multiply uh, one side with the other side. So basically, we need to put in A times A, and then we have the difference minus B times B is equal to 40, right? So in a way, we can do something called like trial and error, right? So essentially, we know that in this example, 10 cm, both numbers need to add together to get 10 cm over here, right? So the numbers that I can list out is, for example, A, right? So let me just remove this a bit here first. So we can just deduce slowly lah. We can not deduce but guess slowly. So A and B total should be 10, right? So A can be 9, B can be 1. Then A can be 8, B can be 2. A can be 7, B can be 3, A can be 6, B can be 5. Sorry, B can be 4. Okay, right. So can this be 5? Right? And the answer is no, because the length of the larger square, and these are different square. So that means we cannot put 5. So the only thing that we know is that it can be either of these different combinations, right? So this is all 10. That's what you see over here. Okay, now we have all of this. The next part is to go through, in a way, trial and error, right? So we know this is what we got. The next thing is we know that if A times A minus B times B is equal to 40. Okay, so what we can do is we can remove this total because pretty straightforward. So we have A and B, right? So my A is a bit like, looks like 9. I'm going to do like this, right? So now I'm going to put 9 times 9 minus B times Z, 1. So you remember 9 times 9 is 81 minus 1. Nah, this is 80. So this is wrong. Bang. This combination is wrong. Okay, let's move on to the next one. 8 times 8. So do you remember 8 times 8? This is 64, right? Then 2 times 2 is equal to 4. So the difference is 64 minus 4 is 60, right? 60. Oh, this is wrong as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. We have 7 times 7, which is, remember, 49. And then 3 times 3, which is 9. So let's see if this is correct. 49 minus 9 equal to 40. Okay, that means this combination over here is correct, right? That's what you see over here. So that means A over here is 7 and B is 3. Now we know that A is 7 and B is 3. Now the last part is find the length of the largest square. So the length is just this part, B. Sorry, the length of the largest square is not B, it's A, right? So that means the length of the largest square should be A7. So your answer is 7. There you go. So that's it. That's how you do it. So in a way you do trial and error to go through, because the numbers are not very, very big. So it is a bit more thinking to do, but essentially this is how you do it. Simplify it, and then you just make sure that you understand this part and you'll get this whole equation right. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down what other papers you want me to go through next. That's it. Thank you so much and see you in the next one. Bye.